Hello everyone. So in this video we'll be just continuing the previous lesson from that video, which was all about solving equations by adding or subtracting. Moreover, we'll be concentrating on some of the problem solving questions in this video relating to adding and subtraction of equations. So for a quick review, let's start by what we learned in the previous video. So we learned about the equation definition. So what's an equation? It's a mathematical sentence or statement that states two expressions are equal. By now we have been repeatedly learning that an equation has an equal sign, and the equal sign divides both the expressions into two parts, right? So both of these parts should give us same number. That's when an equation becomes equal. Expressions become equal. Okay, now to solve an equation we must always use inverse operations. Now inverse means, as we know, it is opposite. So quickly let's revise the opposites of these operations. So the opposite of addition is subtraction, and the opposite of subtraction is addition. So you must keep this in mind in order to remember, in order to solve equations. All right, now let's solve. These are just quick examples as we have already done, but I want you to concentrate on fractions, because normal numbers everyone can add and subtract, but when it comes to fractions some of the students have problems. So that's why I just want you to understand how to add and subtract fractions. Now this equation, d plus 1/2 equals 1. Already we know how to solve. Now the equation says plus, that means to solve we need to do the inverse, which means it's the minus. So the opposite of plus half, when it moves to the other side of the equation, because we need to isolate the d to find d, we have to keep d alone. So plus half will become minus half. So d equals 1 minus half. Now this is easy. Just imagine you have a pizza, you are eating half of it. So this is one whole pizza, and then you are eating half of it. How much is remaining? Simple, you will have half left, right? Now this is how you solve a question by a picture, by imagining something in your mind. But in a proper way, how do we do it? Well, this is 1 minus half. Now a whole one means you have to change it to a fraction. So when you change it to a fraction, it becomes 2 over 2. How did I get 2 over 2? You have, this is one whole. So look at the denominator of the other fraction. It's 2. So that means something of full is being divided in two parts. So how many parts will we have? 2, right? Or more easier to make, just simply multiply the denominator with the whole number. So that's going to give you 2 ones are 2. So the denominator remains the same, 2 over 2. Simple, that's how you get 2 over 2. Okay, so 2 over 2 minus 1 over 2 will give you 2 minus 1 is 1. You know that we don't subtract the denominators, so it's going to give you a half. So the answer is half. But now for checking, let's check. So for checking, you know that you have to draw the table and we have to write the question on the top. Now what was the value of d we got? We got half, right? Plus half. So half plus half, this is mental math. So half and half will give us one whole. So that means our equation was right. Our answer was right. So sometimes fractions are mostly done by mind, as you can imagine a picture, right? Or if you want to do it in this way, you can also do it. So half plus half, 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 over 2, if the numerator and denominator are same, that means it means one whole. So 1 equals 1. Let's move further and look at another question. Solve the equation, again check your answer. Another fraction. So all what we are going to do is move this negative 1 over 4 to the other side. So that will become plus 1 over 4. So I can also rewrite the equation in this way. Not necessarily always 1 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4 should equal w. You can even bring w in front and rewrite the equation in this way also. Now, how are you going to add 1 3 over 4 plus 1 over 4? So just, you don't do anything for this number, all right? Because that's a whole number, leave it as it is. So we write it again, one whole number, one whole number. Add the fractions. 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4 plus 4 over 4. Now, as I told previously, if the numerator and the denominator are same, that means it equals 1 whole. All right. Now, 4 over 4 will equal 1 whole any time. Just remember, if the numerator and the denominator have the same number, that means they are referring to something complete, for 1 whole of something. Okay, so from this 4 over 4 we got 1 whole. Already we have a 1 whole here, right? So we just add both of them. So this one plus the 1 whole we got, so 1 plus 1 is going to give us a 2. This is the answer for 2. So for W equals 2. Now let's check it. Now, yes, it's going to be a little bit different. So let's try. 1 3 over 4 equals negative 1 4 plus W. Okay. So negative 1 over 4 plus the value of W was 2. So this basically means 2 minus 1 over 4. So just imagine you have two okay, pizzas, everyone's favorite. Two pizzas, two whole pizzas. One pizza is cut into 4 parts. Okay, so one pizza is cut into 4 parts and another pizza is cut into 4 parts. How many parts do we have? 4 from one and another 4 from one. So we have all together 8 parts, right? So 8 over 4. If you change this to a fraction, that's going to give you 8 over 4. All right. So 8 over 4 minus 1 over 4. How much is that going to give you? 8 over 4 minus 1 over 4 will give you 7 over 4. Now 7 over 4, if you change it back into a fraction, it will give you 1 3 over 4. Okay, now this might sound confusing, but not to confuse you, let me just give you a small written explanation. How is 2 minus 1 fourth? You will get 1 3 over 4. So just remember this question. 2 minus 1 over 4 or minus 1 over 4 plus 2, it's all going to be the same. Okay, so all what we are going to do is I'll first show you in a picture way how to do it, and then, so our question was 2 whole minus 1 over 4, right? If this was our question. So now we have a whole 2. So as I have explained before, to change this into a fraction, what do? You just multiply the numerator with the whole number, right? So that's going to give you an 8 and the denominator stays the same, 8 over 4, right? Minus, that's going to be 1 over 4. So this one will give us 8 minus 1 is going to be 7 over 4. Now, how are we going to, we cannot leave it like this as it's an improper fraction. The numerator is greater than the denominator. So to change it to a proper fraction, again to a mixed number, what we do is we are going to divide 7 by 4. Okay, we divide the numerator by the denominator. So as we all know, 4 ones will give us 4. Okay, and then subtract it. So we got a remainder of 3. Now, how are we going to write this as a mixed number? We write the quotient, the number we got in the quotient, as a whole number, and the remainder in the numerator, and the denominator remains the same. So 2 minus 1 over 4 will give us 1 3 over 4. Now let me show you this in a picturistic way so that anytime you don't need to follow all these steps, you can simply use your mind and imagine a picture and then do it. Now keep in mind, always in fractions, these have to be equal. Then I'm drawing, I cannot be perfect. Right, now we have 2 whole, so this is 2. Okay, now minus 1 fourth, so we have to remove 1 fourth from here. To remove the 1 fourth, what I have to do, I have to divide this into 4 as well, right? So I'm going to divide each of these into 4. So, oops, that's not straight. Okay, so I'm going to divide this also into 4. So how many parts do we have in all? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how we got 8 over 4. Now you understand how we got 8 over 4? When you have two whole and then we divide each into 4. Now you might ask, why are we dividing into 4? Because we have to remove 1/4, which means the denominator, we have to divide each of the uh, whole into 4 parts. For example, if there was 6 instead of 4, you will divide each of them into 6. If there was 3 instead of 4, you will divide each of them into 3. Okay, now we have 8 parts. So just think that you remove, that you ate 1 over 4. So let me just erase this. Okay. Okay. Now you have eaten 1 over 4, means out of the 8 parts, you have eaten 1 over 4. Means how many are left now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 parts, and in one there is 4. But now if you are changing, or if you're looking it as a whole, how many whole pizzas do we have? We have one whole pizza, and the other one is 3 over 4. So that's how we got this one, 3 over 4. If you don't understand this part, just rewind it back a bit and then listen to the explanation again and try some questions by yourself. You will understand it. So this is how you subtract fractions. I hope this is clear for you. Okay, now keeping that aside, so hopefully that's clear for you. Now let's look at some normal questions. So here we have -5 equals k plus 5. You know what you need to do. All you need to do is move the +5 to the other side. Now when you move the +5 to the other side, what happens? It becomes a -5. Always remember the integer rules. It is very important. So when you have two negative signs, when you have two of the same signs, what do? You add the numbers and then keep the sign the same. So your answer is going to be -10. 5 plus 5 is 10, and then you keep the negative sign the same. Okay, I did not program, that will come later on. So here, now k, remember k is equal to -10. So to check, we replace the k with -10. As you know, if one number is negative and one number is positive, what's the rule we do? The algebraic rule is when both of them have different signs, subtract them. So 10 minus 5 will give you 5. What about the sign? Do we choose the plus or the minus sign? We choose the minus sign as 10 is greater and 10 is having the negative sign. So it's going to be -5 and -5. So which means our -10 equals k is correct. Okay, now for a change, let's look at some problem solving. Everyone has problems, but let's solve the math problem which math is having. Okay, as you know, the problem for math will always be with numbers. Fine. The question says, over 20 years, the population of a town decreased. Now, the keyword here is decreased. Please, when you're solving problem-solving questions, it's always important that you underline the keywords. We call these keywords. So, underline the words. So, the population of a town decreased by 275 people to a population of 850. So the question basically says there were some people in the town, something happened and there was a reduction by 250 people, and now in the town there are 850 people. Write and solve an equation to find the original population. So they want you to find the number of people who were there first, before the reduction was done, before the decrease was done. So how can we write this equation? So you want to find the original population. As we know, decreased means minus. How much was the decrease in population? Is usually stands for the equal sign. Current population is how many people are there now. So we have two things in this question. We have how many people are there in the town, and we have how many people decreased in the town. And we have to find the original population. Now, we are going to find the original population. You can use any letter variable you want to, A, B, C, anything you want, but always it's preferable we use the letter which we are finding. Like for example, we are finding the population, so we keep it as P. Okay, so P minus 275 equals 850. So now we know how to solve this, right? All we have to do is move the -275 to the other side. That will become plus 275. 850 plus 275 will give you 1125. This is how you find the original population. All right, now let's try one more. In 1673, the Hope Diamond, that is the name of a diamond, was reduced from its original weight by about 45 carats. Now, you see these carats, these are not the orange carrots which we eat. These are the carrots which they weigh diamonds. Diamonds are weighed in carats. Okay, like kilograms, grams. And for diamonds, you don't say grams, you say carats, resulting in a diamond weighing about 67 carats. So what happened? There was a diamond. They reduced its weight by how much? By 45 carats. And what happened after they reduced? The weight was 67. See, resulting in a diamond. Means after they reduced, it was 67. Write and solve an equation to find how many carats the original diamond weighed. So we have to find the original. Original means the weight before the reduction. So let's find out. So the original weight minus, because they reduced it. Decrease in weight is the current weight. All right. So we are finding the carats, right? So that's why I kept it as C. If you want to say D for diamond, fine. You can write D also. Or you want to say weight W, you can write W too. So C minus 45 equals 67. I'm sure by now you all must be uh, very well aware how to solve these questions. So minus 45 becomes plus 45. So 67 plus 45 will give you 112. So the current weight of the the original weight of the diamond was 112 carats. It was quite a heavy diamond. All right. So this is how you interpret and you solve problem solving. So the last problem solving question. Louis deposited $500 into his bank account. Deposited means he went and he put the money in his bank account. In easy words, put, okay. He now has $4,732. So after putting the 500 in his bank, after keeping the 500 in his bank account, altogether now he has 4,732. Write and solve an equation to find how much was in his account before the deposit. So you have to find the amount before the deposit. Now, some of you might say, simple, subtract 400,732 by 500. Yes, you're right. That's how you find it as well. But because here we have to do it in a proper way, we have to use a form, an equation we have to write. So we use this way. The original amount which was there before in the bank plus the amount he deposited is the current amount. As you know, when you go and keep money in the bank, the money gets more and more, which means more than what you had. So let's keep the money amount as M, okay, plus he put 500, that gave him 4,732. So how do you solve this? The opposite of plus is minus. So 4,732 minus 500 will give you 4,232. So if you get the equation right, your answer will be right as well. Hopefully this lesson is clear for you. Keep reading the problem solving questions so that you will get an idea quickly on how to solve. Yes, in the beginning it will be difficult, but the more you do and do, the more you will be getting perfect and perfect and perfect. So practice makes everyone perfect, right? So keep practicing, keep doing math, and if you think this video was useful, do press the like button. And if you know anyone, as I always say, who is your friend or anyone who knows, whom you know that they're learning the same level of math, do tell them to watch the videos. So we'll meet again in the video. Keep doing math till I meet you the next time.